The iconic series Mission: Impossible, 1966–1973, pushed the boundaries of television with its clever espionage plots, nail-biting suspense, and a stellar ensemble cast that kept viewers on the edge of their seats. While the show's thrilling missions captured the imagination of millions, the real lives of its 37 cast members were often marked by heartbreak and tragedy. From sudden and untimely deaths to battles with illness and personal struggles, their stories reveal a poignant side to the glamour of Hollywood. In this exploration, we uncover how these talented stars tragically met their ends, offering a heartfelt look into the lives behind the unforgettable characters who made Mission: Impossible a timeless masterpiece. Peter Graves was born on March 18, 1926, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. He is most remembered for his portrayal of Jim Phelps, the determined and charismatic leader of the Impossible Missions Force, in Mission: Impossible, 1967–1973. Phelps led his team with intelligence, strategy, and moral integrity, often making difficult decisions under extreme pressure. Graves' portrayal was one of the most iconic aspects of the series, and he continued to be closely associated with the role, even reprising it in the Mission: Impossible film series. Beyond the show, Graves had a successful career, appearing in several films and TV series, including Fury and The Diary of Anne Frank. In his personal life, he married Joan Endress in 1950, and they had 3 children. Graves' family life was known to be stable and loving. He was deeply affected by the loss of his colleagues over the years, including that of Martin Landau, who passed away in 2017. The two had shared a close friendship, and Landau's death deeply saddened Graves. Peter Graves passed away on March 14, 2010, just days before his 84th birthday, due to a heart attack. Martin Landau was born on June 20, 1928, in Brooklyn, New York. He became famous for his portrayal of Roland Hand, the Master of Disguise, in Mission: Impossible, 1966–1973. Landau's remarkable ability to transform into different characters was a defining feature of his role on the show. He was also known for his work in film, including his Oscar-winning performance in Ed Wood, 1994, and his role in North by Northwest, 1959. While his career soared, Landau's personal life experienced its own tumultuous moments. He was married to actress Barbara Bain, who played his wife on Mission: Impossible, but the marriage ended in divorce after more than 16 years. Landau and Bain had 2 daughters, one of whom became a film producer. His career faced setbacks in the early years, with his portrayal in Mission: Impossible helping to revive his career. In his later years, Landau struggled with heart disease, which ultimately led to his passing on July 15, 2017, at the age of 89. Stephen Hill, born on February 24, 1922, in Seattle, Washington, was known for his portrayal of Daniel Briggs, the original leader of the Impossible Missions Force, in the 1966 series Mission: Impossible. Hill's character was calm, logical, and always in control, serving as the steady hand that guided the team through complex assignments. Hill's career began on Broadway and transitioned to television with numerous roles in both drama and film. In his personal life, Stephen Hill had 2 marriages. His first wife, Beverly, with whom he had 4 children, divorced him in 1967. He later married his second wife, Rachel, with whom he had 3 children. Hill was known to have a deeply spiritual side, adhering to Jewish Orthodox beliefs, which sometimes conflicted with his Hollywood career, as he refused to work on the Sabbath. His career in television continued throughout the years, and he found success with a later role in Law & Order, where he portrayed Adam Schiff. Hill passed away on August 23, 2016, at the age of 94. Greg Morris, born on September 27, 1933, in Cleveland, Ohio, was a talented actor best known for his role as Barney Collier in Mission: Impossible, 1966–1973. Barney, the expert electronics technician, was integral to the team's success, using his skills to crack codes and disable security systems. Morris's portrayal of Barney was praised for its quiet strength and depth, adding complexity to a character that relied on intellect rather than brawn. Outside of Mission Impossible, Maross appeared in numerous TV shows, including The Scarecrow and Mrs. King and The Jeffersons, though he never achieved the same level of fame. In his personal life, Greg Maross married Leona Maross, and they had 2 children. Tragically, Maross faced a heartbreaking series of challenges in his later years. He battled cancer for several years, and in 1996, he succumbed to the disease on August 27, at the age of 62. His death was a painful loss for his family, friends, and fans, particularly considering how relatively young he was. Leonard Nimoy, born on March 26, 1931, gained fame in Mission Impossible for his portrayal of Paris, a master of disguise and illusionist, starting in 1969. His character was integral to the team, often using his charm and quick thinking to outsmart enemies. Prior to his role in Mission Impossible, Nimoy was already widely recognized for his portrayal of Spock in Star Trek, a role that earned him iconic status. Nimoy's career spanned decades, but it was also marked by personal struggles, especially with the tension between his success in Star Trek and the struggle for other meaningful roles. In his personal life, Nimoy had 2 marriages. His first marriage to actress Sandra Zober lasted from 1954 to 1987, and they had 2 children, Adam and Julie. His second marriage to Susan Bay in 1989 lasted until his death. Nimoy's health began to decline in the 2010s, and he was diagnosed with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, largely attributed to his years of smoking, a habit he had quit in the 1980s. His passing on February 27, 2015, at the age of 83, was a tragic loss, not only to Mission Impossible fans but to the broader entertainment world. Vic Perin, born on April 26, 1916, in Menomonee Falls, Wisconsin, was a veteran actor who appeared in several episodes of Mission Impossible starting in 1967, where he portrayed Cheever, a resourceful and cunning character. Perin had a diverse career in both film and television, with notable voice acting roles in animated shows and radio. However, his role in Mission Impossible is one of his most remembered, though it was relatively minor compared to others in the cast. Perin was married to Shirley and had a daughter, but much of his personal life remains under the radar. His career, though consistent, experienced its own ups and downs, with the transition from film to television often requiring him to take on smaller, sometimes uncredited, roles. Perin's death on July 4, 1989, at the age of 73, marked the end of his long-standing presence in the industry. Jack Donner was born on October 29, 1928, in Los Angeles, California. He is best remembered for his role as Buckaroo in Mission Impossible, 1966, where he portrayed a shrewd and calculating villain who could always be counted on to keep the IMF team on their toes. Jack's career spanned decades, with notable appearances in other television series and films such as The Streets of San Francisco, Star Trek, and The Twilight Zone. While his career was filled with ups and downs, including occasional bouts of being typecast, he maintained a steady presence in Hollywood. Jack was married once, but his personal life was marked by tragedies. In the 1970s, he faced the heartbreaking loss of a close friend and colleague, Robert Loggia, who passed away before him. Jack also had to cope with the death of his longtime agent in a tragic accident. His own life was not without its struggles, and he spent several years battling health issues later in life. Jack Donner died on September 21, 2019, at the age of 90, in Los Angeles, California, of natural causes. John Vernon was born on February 24, 1932, in Zehner, Saskatchewan, Canada. His portrayal of General Ramon Sabatini in Mission Impossible, 1969, marked him as a powerful and commanding figure in the series. John's career included significant roles in Animal House, Dirty Harry, and The Outlaw Josie Wales. While his career flourished with high-profile roles in films and television, his personal life was far from perfect. John suffered from a series of health issues, including obesity, which led to complications later in life. He was married twice, and his second marriage ended in divorce, leaving him to navigate his later years alone. Tragically, John faced the painful loss of his younger brother, who died of cancer just before John's own passing. In 2005, John underwent heart surgery but did not recover as expected. John Vernon died on February 1, 2005, in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 72, following complications from the surgery. Albert Paulson, born on December 13, 1925, in Guayaquil, Ecuador, gained recognition for his role as Albert Zembra in Mission: Impossible, 1966. Zembra was a shrewd, manipulative character, and Paulson's commanding presence made him a memorable part of the series. Throughout his career, he appeared in numerous television series, including The Twilight Zone, The Man from UNCLE, and Hawaii 5-0. Paulson's career was defined by his ability to play complex characters, often villains, with depth and nuance. In his personal life, Albert married and had children, though he experienced personal struggles, including bouts of depression. Paulson's later years were marked by the loss of several close friends, including the death of his longtime colleague, which deeply affected him. Albert Paulson passed away on April 25, 2004, at the age of 78, in Los Angeles, California, due to natural causes. His death marked the end of a distinguished career in television. Sid Haig was born on July 14, 1939, in Fresno, California. His portrayal of Musha in Mission: Impossible, 1966, showcased his ability to play menacing characters, known for their intimidating presence and brutal strength. Sid had a diverse career, including major roles in House of 1,000 Corpses and The Devil's Rejects, where his portrayal of Captain Spaulding became iconic. His life was a mixture of triumph and personal challenges, notably a long struggle with addiction in the 1970s and 1980s, which caused significant setbacks in his career. Sid married his wife, Susan L. Shapiro, and they had a daughter, though the marriage ended in divorce. Sid faced the loss of close friends, including the passing of his Mission: Impossible co-star Peter Graves, which deeply affected him. In 2019, Sid faced a severe decline in health due to respiratory complications. Sid Haig died on September 21, 2019, at the age of 80 in Thousand Oaks, California, due to respiratory complications, just days after losing another dear friend from the film industry. Paul Stevens was born on January 17, 1921, in Los Angeles, California. He played Frank Wayne in Mission: Impossible starting in 1967, a character known for his cunning and resourceful nature. Frank was an indispensable member of the Impossible Missions force, often using his wits to outsmart adversaries and navigate complex situations. Despite a solid career in television and film, Stevens's personal life was marked by considerable challenges. He had a brief marriage to actress Barbara Joyce, but it ended in divorce, a painful experience that he struggled to come to terms with. The loss of his close friend and fellow actor, Barry Atwater, who passed away in 1978, left Stevens devastated. Atwater's death was a particularly tragic blow, as the two had shared many moments working together on Mission: Impossible. Paul Stevens himself faced a difficult end to his life, succumbing to pneumonia on June 4, 1986, at the age of 65. His death marked the end of a life that had been as complex as the characters he portrayed on screen, filled with both successes and personal hardships. Barry Atwater was born on May 16, 1918, in Denver, Colorado. He took on the role of Dr. Carlos Enero in Mission: Impossible starting in 1966. Dr. Enero was a sinister and menacing character, known for his chilling presence that made him unforgettable to viewers. Despite being primarily a television actor, Atwater's career spanned several decades, during which he appeared in numerous films and shows. However, his personal life was fraught with difficulties. Atwater had a difficult relationship with his family, which caused strain throughout his life. He was deeply affected by the death of his colleague, even though Atwater himself had already passed by then. Atwater's final years were troubled by health issues, and he died suddenly on May 24, 1978, at the age of 60, after suffering a stroke. His passing came as a shock to those who knew him, particularly to his Mission Impossible colleagues, who mourned the loss of a talented and intense actor. Joseph Ruskin, born on April 14, 1924, in Haverhill, Massachusetts, was best known for his role as Colonel Scutari in Mission Impossible, 1966, where he portrayed a calculating and strategic character. His career spanned over 5 decades, with notable appearances in classic television series such as The Twilight Zone, Star Trek, and The Man from UNCLE. Ruskin was a respected actor, known for his versatility in both villainous and sympathetic roles. In his personal life, Joseph married and had children, though he kept his family life largely private. He was deeply affected by the deaths of close friends, with whom he had worked on Star Trek. The loss of these colleagues weighed heavily on him, especially as he experienced personal solitude later in life. Joseph Ruskin passed away on December 28, 2013, at the age of 89, in Santa Monica, California, due to natural causes. Robert Ellenstein, born on June 18, 1923, portrayed Deputy Premier Voss in Mission Impossible, was one of the more memorable antagonists in the series. Ellenstein's career was marked by both successes and personal struggles. He worked on a wide range of productions, from The Twilight Zone to Broadway, but he often felt typecast in roles of power-hungry characters. His marriage to actress Dorothy Green was a significant part of his life, but the couple's relationship was often strained due to his demanding career and frequent absences. They had one child, a son named Jason, but after years of tension, Robert and Dorothy divorced in the 1980s. A profound tragedy struck when Ellenstein lost his mother to a long battle with cancer, an event that left him emotionally shattered and impacted his ability to connect with his work for a time. He also faced financial struggles during the 1970s, when the Hollywood industry was undergoing significant changes. He passed away on October 28, 2010, in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 87 from natural causes. Arthur Batanides, born on April 9, 1923, in Tacoma, Washington, is remembered for his role as Father Paulo Dominguez in Mission Impossible, 1967. His character was known for offering wisdom and compassion, providing moral guidance in the tense situations the team faced. Batanides had a long and varied career in television, with memorable appearances in shows like Gunsmoke, The Rockford Files, and The Outer Limits. Despite his career success, Batanides struggled privately, particularly with financial difficulties in his later years. He married and had children, but details of his personal life remain private. Batanides also faced personal tragedy with the loss of close friends in the entertainment industry, with whom he had shared many years of work, seemed to have a profound emotional impact. Arthur Batanides passed away on January 10, 2000, at the age of 76, from natural causes. Pernell Roberts, born on May 18, 1928, was best known for his portrayal of Boomer in Mission Impossible, 1967, a character who embodied strength, determination, and leadership. Roberts had a varied career that spanned across television and film, but his most famous role was as Adam Cartwright in Bonanza, 1959 to 1965, where he played the eldest son in the renowned Western family. His personal life, however, was marked by some difficult challenges. Despite his public success, Roberts' marriages were tumultuous. He married 4 times, with his third marriage to Judith Roberts ending in divorce, and he had no children from his last marriage. Pernell faced personal struggles with depression and the public's perception of his roles, feeling trapped by the good guy image. Another heartbreak came with the death of his close friend, the beloved Bonanza co-star Dan Blocker, who passed away in 1972 at the age of 43. The loss deeply affected Roberts, and he later distanced himself from the show. Pernell Roberts died on January 24, 2010, at the age of 81 after a battle with pancreatic cancer. William Windom was born on September 28, 1923, in Manhattan, New York City. He played Alex Kresnick in Mission Impossible, 1967, a clever and strategic adversary who always seemed to be one step ahead. Windom's career was filled with many notable performances, including his role in The Farmer's Daughter and My World and Welcome to It. He also appeared in various television series, including Star Trek. Though he was celebrated for his acting, Windom's personal life was marked by hardship. He was married 4 times, with his third marriage ending in a contentious divorce that left him emotionally scarred. His fourth wife, to whom he was married until his passing, had her own health struggles, and Windom was often her caretaker during her long illness. The death of his close friend and fellow actor, Don Knotts, was another blow to Windom, as they had shared a deep friendship from their early years in Hollywood. William Windom passed away on August 16, 2012, at the age of 88 in Woodacre, California, from congestive heart failure. Percy Rodriguez, born on June 13, 1918, in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, was known for his role as Jara in Mission Impossible, 1966, where he portrayed a calm and authoritative character who helped lead the team through their various missions. A prolific actor, Rodriguez worked in both television and film throughout his career, with memorable roles in The Twilight Zone and The Streets of San Francisco. His personal life, however, was riddled with heartache. Rodriguez was married to his wife, but they had no children, and his marriage eventually ended in divorce. One of the greatest tragedies in his life was the death of his close friend and fellow actor, Charles Aidman, who passed away unexpectedly in 1993. In his later years, Rodriguez faced health issues, particularly kidney failure, which ultimately led to his death. He also struggled with the loss of several other industry friends, which affected his outlook on life. Percy Rodriguez passed away on September 6, 2007, at the age of 89, from kidney failure. Ron Feinberg was born on October 10, 1932, in San Francisco, California. He portrayed Alvin Tainer in Mission Impossible starting in 1970. Tainer was a quick-thinking and inventive member of the team, always finding ways to solve the most difficult of problems. Feinberg's career was steady, but his personal life was not without difficulties. He was married at least once, but his relationships suffered under the strain of his busy career and the pressures of Hollywood life. He also faced the sorrow of losing friends within the industry, particularly the death of his co-star, Mark Lenard, whose passing in 1996 deeply affected him. Feinberg himself faced numerous health challenges, including heart problems that worsened as he aged. On January 29, 2005, Ron Feinberg passed away at the age of 72 from heart failure in Los Angeles. His death, although not widely publicized, was felt deeply by his colleagues and friends, as he had quietly remained a part of the entertainment world even after his Mission Impossible days had ended. Joe Maross was born on February 7, 1923, in Barnesboro, Pennsylvania. He portrayed Clegg in Mission Impossible beginning in 1967, a character defined by his intensity and somewhat paranoid demeanor. Clegg's suspicious nature made him stand out, and Maross's performance added layers of tension to the series. Maross had a steady acting career, with roles in both television and film, but his personal life was not without hardship. He married once, but his marriage was troubled, leading to separation. Maross was particularly affected by the deaths of his co-stars over the years. The passing of his Mission Impossible castmates, particularly the death of his close friend Barry Atwater, shook him deeply. In his later years, Maross faced a significant health decline, which worsened in 2009. On November 7 of that year, at the age of 86, he passed away due to cardiac arrest. His death was a quiet one, but it was felt by all who had worked with him over the decades. Robert Phillips was born on April 10, 1925, in Chicago, Illinois. In Mission Impossible, 1967, he portrayed Ernie Staksek, a tough and capable character who was always ready to face any challenge that came his way. Phillips had a career that spanned both film and television, with guest appearances in a variety of series like The Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits. While his career was steady, his personal life experienced significant upheavals. Phillips had 2 marriages, the first one ending in a painful divorce that affected his emotional well-being. He later remarried, but the second marriage was also marked by struggles and an eventual separation. Tragedy struck when his eldest child, a son, was involved in a severe car accident that left him with permanent injuries. The burden of caring for his son, along with the death of a dear colleague, Walter Matthau, deeply affected Robert. Despite these challenges, Phillips continued his work until his death. On November 5, 2018, he passed away at the age of 93 in Los Angeles, California, due to natural causes. Milton Selzer, born on October 25, 1918, is remembered for his portrayal of Dr. Eric Rojak, a conflicted but brilliant scientist, in Mission: Impossible starting in 1967. Dr. Rojak added a layer of depth and complexity to the series with his moral struggles, and Selzer's performance stood out among the guest stars in the show. A prolific character actor, Selzer appeared in numerous films and TV series throughout his career, often playing intellectuals, authority figures, and criminals. While his career was filled with highs, including roles in The Twilight Zone and The Outer Limits, Selzer's personal life was not without challenges. He married his wife, and they had 2 children, but their marriage faced tensions, particularly in his later years as Selzer struggled with bouts of depression. His most devastating loss came when his daughter passed away unexpectedly in her 40s, which deeply affected him for the rest of his life. Milton Selzer passed away on October 21, 2006, at the age of 87 due to pulmonary complications. Jason Evers, born on January 2, 1922, in New York City, New York, played Ben Nelson in Mission: Impossible, 1969, a character marked by his intelligence and resourcefulness. Evers had a diverse career, with appearances in notable television shows like The Twilight Zone and The Untouchables, as well as films such as The Green Berets, 1968. His personal life was relatively private, and though he married and had children, his family life seemed mostly out of the spotlight. Evers faced a devastating personal tragedy with the death of his close friend and colleague, James Arness, in 2011. Evers was also affected by the untimely passing of his co-stars from Mission: Impossible, and the loss of these familiar faces seemed to linger in his later years. The grief caused by the deaths of friends and colleagues impacted his health, which deteriorated in his later years. Jason Evers died on March 13, 2005, at the age of 83, from heart failure. Michael Strong, born on February 8, 1918, gained recognition for his portrayal of Barsky in Mission: Impossible starting in 1967. In many ways, Strong mirrored the resilience of the characters he portrayed, yet his personal life told a different story. Married to actress Jean Phillips for over 20 years, the couple had 1 daughter, Margaret. While their marriage seemed stable to the public, the pressures of Strong's career and personal struggles began to take a toll on their relationship. Michael was often away for long shoots, leaving Jean to care for their daughter, which led to a gradual emotional distance. In the early 1970s, after a particularly difficult period, the couple separated. At the same time, his health began to decline. Strong was diagnosed with cancer in 1979, a diagnosis that he fought privately while continuing to work. His final years were marked by intense pain and the loss of close colleagues, including Warren Stevens, who had been a friend for years. Michael Strong passed away on September 29, 1980, at the age of 62 due to cancer. Nate Esformes, born on June 29, 1932, played Captain Vicente Barrer, a strong-willed, strategic leader who posed a significant challenge to the IMF team. Esformes' career was one of steady progression, with roles in both television and film, but he often faced the difficulty of being pigeonholed into tough guy roles. He was married to his wife, Carol, for over 40 years, and they had 3 children, including 2 sons and a daughter. However, tragedy struck when their daughter died in a car accident in 1990, a loss that took a tremendous toll on Esformes and his family. The grief from the accident led to a period of depression, and he often withdrew from the public eye during that time. The death of his close friend and fellow actor, Vic Perin, in 1989, further added to the sense of loss in his later years. Though Esformes continued to act after the loss, his health began to deteriorate, and he struggled with the effects of heart disease. Nate Esformes passed away on June 19, 2013, in Los Angeles, California, at the age of 80. Alfred Ryder was born on January 5, 1916, in New York City, New York. He played Colonel Borodin in Mission Impossible starting in 1968, a character defined by his commanding presence and tactical acumen. Ryder's career was prolific, featuring appearances in numerous TV series and films, but his personal life was not as smooth. Ryder was married for a long period, but it's unclear whether he had children, and he faced the pain of losing loved ones, including several fellow actors who passed away during his career. A particularly painful loss was that of his Mission Impossible co-star, Mark Lenard, well before Ryder's own death. He also endured significant health battles in his later years, suffering from various complications. Alfred Ryder passed away on April 16, 1995, at the age of 79 in Englewood, New Jersey, leaving behind a legacy of powerful performances, but a life shadowed by the loss of close friends and the challenges of aging. Warren Stevens, born on November 2, 1919, portrayed Karl de Groot, a master manipulator with a sharp mind and a relentless pursuit of his goals. Over his long career, Stevens appeared in many television shows and films, with notable roles in Forbidden Planet and The Outer Limits. Warren married his wife, Edith, in 1948, and they had 2 children. Their relationship, although enduring, was not without its ups and downs, especially in the later years when Stevens struggled with the pressures of his demanding career and the demands of family life. Tragically, in the mid-1970s, Stevens suffered the loss of his younger brother, who died suddenly of a heart attack. The grief from this loss overshadowed his later years, and Stevens' health began to deteriorate. In addition, his long-term smoking habit led to respiratory issues, further complicating his health. After decades of struggling with chronic lung disease, Warren Stevens passed away on March 27, 2012, at the age of 92. Fritz Weaver was born on January 19, 1926, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Known for his role as Emil Skarbek in Mission Impossible, 1966, Fritz portrayed a brilliant and manipulative character who always found ways to achieve his ends. A respected stage and screen actor, Weaver enjoyed a lengthy and varied career in both film and television, appearing in The Day After and The Twilight Zone. While his career flourished, his personal life was complicated by tragedy. Fritz had 2 children, but his relationship with his eldest daughter was strained due to her struggles with addiction, which eventually led to her passing at a young age. Another tragedy struck when Fritz's longtime friend, actor Jason Robards, died just a year before he did. The grief from these personal losses weighed heavily on him in his later years. Despite the challenges, Fritz continued to work and enjoy his craft until his passing. He died on November 26, 2016, at the age of 90 in New York City, New York, after battling a prolonged illness. Mark Lenard was born on October 15, 1924, in Chicago, Illinois. He portrayed Aristo Scora in Mission Impossible starting in 1966. Scora was a brilliant strategist, known for his sharp mind and ability to stay several steps ahead of his adversaries. Lenard's career spanned across both television and film, with roles in series such as Star Trek and The Outer Limits, but his personal life was marked by some darker times. He was married twice. His first marriage ended in divorce, and his second marriage was equally troubled, leading to another separation. Lenard also struggled with the loss of close friends and colleagues, particularly the death of Mission Impossible co-star, long after Lenard's own death. Lenard himself battled multiple myeloma for several years before passing away on November 22, 1996, in New York City, at the age of 72. His death was a sorrowful moment for his friends and family, who had witnessed his valiant struggle against the disease. What do you think about the deaths of the actors in Mission Impossible, and who do you miss the most among them? Leave your comments below and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to see the latest videos.